after that Man City game, we've seen another Arteta adapting to a more attacking tactics. And I think that was where the critics came out. And even within the fan base, myself, I criticized Arteta because I felt that Liverpool game, we should have been braver, we should have been bolder, and possibly we could have even got the worst would have been to get just 1 point. Yes, today we're talking Arsenal. And the last time we were here, it was Arteta's issue. I know I was critical of Arteta. Daniel, you were the one backing Arteta in the last episode we had concerning the Arsenal corner on Footy Wheat. And we know this show is dedicated to everything Arsenal. And we'll just the both of us will be on today's show. Okwe is unavoidably absent, and also Mustafa. But they will definitely join us in the subsequent Arsenal Fan Corner episode that we'll be having in this month. Quickly, I just want to share something, because I know in that last episode I was critical of Arteta, yes, and the last few games that we've played, which the last time we were here was the game we lost to Liverpool, and after then we've played Nottingham Forest, we won 3-0, played Atletico Club in the Champions League, 1-2-0, played Man City, 1-1, played Port Vale in the EFL Cup, Carabao Cup, as we all know, we won 2-0 away, played Newcastle away 2-1, played Olympiacos 2-0, played West Ham 2-0. So after that Liverpool game, we had won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games, and only drew to Man City 1-1 at the Emirates. So we've played 7 games after the last episode we were here, and after then we're here seeing how we have come. And I know I was critical of Arteta, but just a quick let me just go. Yeah. So on this show, let me just play it.
Yeah.
Liverpool was clear that he was going out for a draw. You can't have a striker like a Gyokeres that does not have a shot on target in the first half, and in the second half you want to keep playing that same style of football. To be honest, even as a footballer, the guy will just get frustrated and be like, come, what's going on? You know this guy's strengths. You know that when he plays, he's a nightmare for defenders. Don't make him look like he doesn't know what he's doing.
Doesn't know what he's doing, yeah.
You understand? And that boils down to the style of play your midfielders need to create. See what we are saying with Merino.
Let's just stop there. Right? What we said and what Mustafa was saying was the style of play, which I was critical, and I guess you were on the side of Arteta. You were supporting Arteta. You had hopes. You had everything, which was fine, which I had no issues with. But if we look at it, the 7 games of reeled out, definitely, he changed his style. And we saw that has yielded to us having the results that we've gone ahead to get. In 7 games, winning 6 and drawing Man City. However, that Man City game, I know the entire fan base were a bit critical of Arteta, but he made those changes despite the fact that we went 1-0 behind. He made those changes and we got back into the game, and possibly could have won the game if he was brave enough. But I think after that Man City game, we've seen another Arteta adapting to a more attacking tactics. What's your take in the last 7 games that we've played after the last time we were here on the pod?
Yeah, I don't think Arteta changed his tactics. I think he does change. Well, yeah. Like I said the other time, he knew what he wanted to do. If you notice, we are still playing side to side, using crosses, using set pitches. It's just that now we have players that can execute it better, players that have that ability to make the intricate passes. Like yesterday, our win against West Ham, if you look at our first goal, the pass from Zubimendi to Eze that led to the Rice goal. So we have players that can, make those passes, and they are getting used to the system as well. They are gelling. We were critical of Arteta at the beginning, first 3-4 games, like, he has the handbrakes on and stuff. These players are new to the team. We have at least 3-4, Madueke was starting at that time. We had 3-4 players that were just coming to the club, trying to get the groove and stuff, and we're already on Arteta. Oh, he's doing this wrong, doing this right. So I think he just got the players to buy into the tactics, buy into the way he wants to play, the way he wants the club to move on the pitch. And now they are showing it that we have the quality. First of all, our defense is solid, and from there we are building the midfield. Like yesterday's match, I mean, when Odegaard went down, my heart goes out to Odegaard. He's going through a lot of injuries right now, and it's not the best for him, but he's showing good signs. Like I was saying, if you look at our midfield yesterday, you look at what we were doing before Odegaard went off. We had Rice in the 6, and we had Odegaard was playing like a deep line midfielder, and we had Eze in 10. You could see the fluidity in the team, and now we're moving around. So the interesting thing for me was when Odegaard went off, and we had Zubimendi, Rice, and Eze. You could still see that playing good football. Eze was dropping into the right places. He was not coming deep like Odegaard, but we still had the players to do the job. Did we break them down yesterday? Yes, we did, like we do every season, but we don't score. What we did well yesterday was take our chances. Even if Eze had a missed opportunity where it was just like, let me just a tap in or something, but we took our opportunity. Like Saka said yesterday, he said Henry messaged him that we lost our last 12 games to West Ham and we need to win.
Yeah. I saw that tweet.
Yeah, we responded. It showed that we have the ability to do the job. Apple picked up yesterday as well. That's now, we put them in that hot place. Imagine the roles were reversed. Let's say Liverpool won and we had to, come back and do something. I should have been for Arsenal. Arsenal did not react. Media will have gone double down. My heart goes out to Arteta, like hats off to Arteta, to be honest, because if you look at how he was criticized, iSports, everyone in England were like, this guy is having Arsenal back. But no, we are doing the same things with the same players, but now the introduction of Eze as well, and let's say Saka coming back as well has made that better for us. But Arteta has been handling it. I feel he's handling this season better than Slot. I know a lot of people will argue with this, but I feel Arteta is handling that pressure better than Slot, because Slot has spent a lot of money.
Arteta has spent a lot of money. But if you look at to be fair, if you look at the beginning of the season, if you look at how we were setting up the first game against Manchester United, it was not encouraging at all. These are facts, right? The game against Manchester United at Old Trafford, if Manchester United had their shooting boots, possibly we could have lost that game with the chances they created. And in the second half, we didn't create more chances. We didn't create any chance at all. Even the first half, the goal we scored was a corner kick. Yes, we attacked to get the corner kick and we scored. Fair enough. Leeds United, we were at home. Even the first 15 minutes, we couldn't really say that we upped the ante or we really wanted to get the win. Leeds were in the game until that first goal went in. The second goal went, I think Leeds just collapsed. Going into the third game, Liverpool, we saw how we set up a game. And I think everybody didn't have it. Everybody wasn't happy with that setup because the way Arteta set up against Liverpool that we all know were there for the taking. And I think that was where the critics came out. And even within the fan base, myself, I criticized Arteta because I felt that Liverpool game, we should have been braver, we should have been bolder, and possibly we could have even got the worst would have been to get just 1 point. And to be fair, after the international break, in September, when we got back the game against Nottingham Forest, from there on, I could see changes and I could see attacking changes, bringing in Eze, integrating him to the team. The game in the Champions League, the Atletico Bilbao was kind of cagey, but the changes made. And also, what's your take? The likes of Martinelli, the likes of Trossard, sitting on the bench and being squad players, and also coming in with that mindset of helping the team and not just wanting to.
I think it's fantastic to have that level of quality on the bench. This is what the top teams do. Look at City, look at Liverpool, the big teams that were winning stuff. Look at Rodrigo again at Real Madrid. Rodrigo is on the bench in Real Madrid. If he comes to Arsenal, he's going to start. So this is the quality we need. And you see that we have impact stuff now, because last season as well, I said something, he said, for you to win the league, win the Champions League, you need to have a strong bench, because a time will come in the season where your bench has a very huge role to play. Look at yesterday when Odegaard went down. Imagine we didn't have Zubimendi, who was going to come in 1-0. So the depth we have now on the bench, you can say Trossard to start. Okay, Martinelli can come in. We have that option. And mind you, we have Jesus who's still going to come in. We have Havertz. We have Madrid players that's going to come back for our attacking line. So I think it's wonderful. And in my opinion, this is how a club should be. If you want to challenge for the titles, challenge for all of them, at least the quadruple, you need to have this level of depth, because now I can say we can remove anybody from any part of the pitch or any position on the pitch, and we have somebody capable that can play the position.
Yeah, because imagine last season when at the beginning of the season also, when Odegaard went down, during the international break, when he had that ankle injury that he couldn't feature, that Arteta was thrown in that confusion state. He didn't know who to play in the 10, whether Trossard at the time played in the 10. And also we saw Nwaneri, he was too young, right? We're trying to manage his playing time. Last season, we had, if you look at the bench, it was so discouraging. You had Tierney, Butler, Yodeji, and Zinchenko, players that couldn't come into the game to change the game. But this season, alluding to what you just said, Arteta has been backed. And to be fair, in his 5 years of being the manager, this transfer window is where we as Arsenal fans could say Arteta has been backed financially to get the number of players that we want. And you can see position-wise, they are stacked up there. Odegaard dropping yesterday, and we didn't feel a pinch. Even the press conference before the West Ham game, there was a point where Arteta was making his gimmicks, his normal gimmicks, where he was saying Gabriel Magalhaes might not be available for the game. And you could see the entire Arsenal fan base in panic because we know that we had a player like Mosquera that can come in. But let's talk about Mosquera. It's good we segue into Mosquera. The Newcastle game. After the Newcastle game, we also got a backlash from the media, the mainstream media. Critics, pundits didn't want to give us the credit. There was a lot of controversial issues in that game, and which we all know. The Newcastle game recently had always come with controversies. But one thing stood out for me, in my own opinion, I would like to get your opinion as well, is the way the team fought. An Arsenal of 2 seasons or 3 seasons ago, going one down, it could have knocked us out of our wind, and coming back would have been a problem. Same thing happened last season when we went 1-0 down to the Isak header in the first half and we couldn't do anything. But this season, you could see players came from the bench that changed the game. Odegaard coming in, Merino coming in, and a few others that came in. Mosquera started, he cost the goal. Not any fault of his, but he wanted to make a back pass to Raya. But and we had a Saliba on the bench, and I loved what Arteta did, which brings us back to what we started the conversation with: Arteta's adaptability to the current squad and being able to trust the players. He took Mosquera off the pressure, off the firing line, and brought in Saliba. In your own opinion, what's your take in that Newcastle game?
Yeah, I think the game was amazing. We have a long history of capitulating instead James's Park.
Yeah.
I'll go back to 2021, where we were all to go to Europe. We won that match, but we lost 2-0. Oh my goodness, that day was a
The
very
top
bad
four.
day for me. Oh my goodness, because I remember how they scored all the goals.
Yeah.
And looking at the way we reacted last week, I was so impressed. Because we went to go down. Looking at how we even conceded, we were controlling the game, to be fair. The typical Arsenal way of conceding, we control the game for 40 minutes and then just one chance, they score us. So I was very
Scored
impressed.
in the 34th minute, the corner kick. Yep.
Yeah, I was very impressed how we reacted. Folks were like, Mosquera everybody can make a mistake. 9.5 times out of 10 is going to make the right thing. But it's just, imperfections that comes with being a human being that happened there. And to me, that was just a good goal. Honestly, that was a good goal because nothing that Liverpool have done. So maybe that was a good cross as well.
Mm-hmm.
So kudos to Newcastle for that. But the way we reacted, I loved the fight. We never looked like we were overwhelmed. We looked still in control of the situation. Look at when we scored by Merino, and I really commend.
We got criticized for celebrating during the scoring, leveling up, and we didn't want to pick the ball to go reminiscing of the Man City game. Yeah.
So I was really impressed by Arteta by bringing in Mourinho, given the fact that there was already backlash that why is Mourinho playing important games and stuff. He came in and he scored. So we have that in our team now that we say, okay, we have the chance of scoring and we equalized. That was fantastic because we showed what champions are made of. For me, that is still our most important game of the season so far because we showed character. We showed that, okay, we are not backing down because if you look at our history at St. James's Park, is horrible. But the way we reacted, I was proud to be an Arsenal fan that day, how the players, even Saka as well, given the fact that he was not 100% to do what
He was
did.
substituted. That shows the bench. That shows the squad depth. We were 1-0 down, and Saka was substituted.
Yeah, and
I still went ahead to win.
To me, the standout player of that game was Odegaard. The cameo he had, I was so impressed. I was like, this is the only one I know. This is the guy that we know. This is our captain. Deep line, the intricate passes he was making, galvanizing the boys. Let's go, let's keep pushing, showing what a playmaker should be. And this is the good thing that comes with competition as well, because now we have competition. We have players that if you don't do well, someone is there to take your place, and everybody's there. Look at Martinelli. Look at players that would have just been relaxed. This is Mendy as well. Because yesterday he knew he had an opportunity to show that, because a regular player wants to play week in, week out. And when you go on the bench, you're never happy. So anytime you see the chance to play, you want to make a statement. This is the thing that happened, because before, look at Saka as well. I'm sure when Madueke is back, Saka will have to sit up as well, because Madueke has been showing good signs. And this is what we want. And the player, I'm sure right now, that needs that is Gyokeres. I feel that guy is tired. I feel he needs Havertz right now. I know we'll go to Gyokeres, but that's my input. Well,
for me, the mentality, seeing how I think we gave Newcastle a taste of their own medicine, because I know when we get there, they like to bully us. And I love the way Gabriel handled Walter Made, with that push. For me, some would argue that it was a red card offense, but I think you just had to show Walter Made, is that his name? The German, that yes, I'm here. You got lucky. That goal you scored, you got lucky. Which, for me, I felt Gabriel should have done better, defended better, but the goal came in. But it is what it is. Moving on after Newcastle West Ham game yesterday, there were still moans and groans, despite the fact that we won comfortably. I saw one tweet. I should have saved that tweet and shared it here, where someone tweeted that what Raya did throughout the game was just sit down on the chair and had a cola beside him. I was just drinking and chilling, because Raya was not called. Raya had no issue. Raya had no time that he was called to make any save, compared to the Champions League game against Olympiacos. Despite the fact that we dominated, Olympiacos had a few chances. I think Raya made some 2 or 3 saves from preventing Olympiacos from leveling up. But let me just quickly share something so that we'll see. Like I said, moans and groans, and Arsenal fan base don't cease to surprise me. This was from AFTV, and let me just share it so you see the video.
Not in this league. Maybe Bundesliga, maybe some other France. In this league, no. It don't work like that.
Ooh. An advert just popped up.
It don't work like that every week. And it's not even like we ain't blown teams, because we've come here, Leeds, 5-0.
Got promoted, that's good. West Ham are about to be relegated the way they're going on. Like, batter them, bro. Batter them. Olympiacos was a mad thing. We should have battered them, bro.
The fan base, despite the fact that we won 2-0, they wanted us to batter West Ham. And I could big up to Robbie, the AFTV chairman. You could see how he was so pissed in that video. Yes. Yeah. Why are you guys complaining? We won 2-0 comfortably. West Ham didn't have anything on us in that game. And we got the 3 points, which took us to the top of the table. And at that time that interview was happening, Liverpool and Chelsea were playing at Stamford Bridge, and Chelsea were up by 1-0. And you could still see some part of the Arsenal fan base moaning and groaning that we should have battered them. The guy was trying to make a point that this performance will catch up with us. For me, as an Arsenal fan, I've seen where we've played well. 2 seasons ago, where West Ham won 2-0, we had 21 shots at goal, 21 shots on goal, and we couldn't score. Same thing that happened last season when they came to the Emirates and won 1-0. We had a lot of shots on target, we couldn't score. But this time around, we did the job. We silenced them, cut off any form of threat from West Ham, and did the job. Got the 3 points, which took us to the top position in the EPL. What's your take?
The Arsenal fans are very reactionary, and I've learned something that people always have something to say. But the honestly, I was not surprised because I saw the video as well. It did the numbers on Twitter because you've lost 2 years consecutively at home to West Ham and you win 2-0. I performed the way you performed and you are complaining. Oh my goodness. This is a West Ham side that was set up by Nuno. Nuno is known since Nottingham Forest days that he doesn't concede so many goals. But to score 2 goals, if Everton are flying right now, because they beat Crystal Palace as well today. Crystal Palace, they have not lost a game in 18 games, I think, lost to Everton.
19 games, yeah.
19 games, yeah. They defeated Crystal Palace with the Everton. And Nuno's side, on his first game, West Ham Everton, which I think was on Monday, they drew 1-1. They drew 1-1 to show you how good he can be in terms of setting up his team. So the Arsenal fans reacted the way they did. I'm sure he has his reasons. Maybe it's just to make the numbers again, this business,
A lot of people said it was rage baiting and trying to look for click. But I think the guy had a personal one-on-one interview. I think him disrupting Robbie's interview, I think he was able to have the chance to talk. The video is on AFTV. People can go look at it up. I think he made a valid point, and he said what he wanted was for us to battle West Ham. That the way we played the game, too controlling. We didn't really test. We didn't really push West Ham back. We didn't really create chances. There were no clear-cut chances. We didn't really show Pepe, the West Ham goalkeeper. And due to just what you said, Nuno Esperanto, we know him as the type of manager that sets up in those low blocks, 2 banks of 4, playing defensively. The team, whatever he sets up to the team, they are structured, organized, and so hard to break down. We saw a glimpse of that at Anfield last season. They defeated Liverpool 1-0. The champions, they defeated 1-0. He took that team, I guess if I'm not mistaken, Nuno Esperanto. He took Nottingham Forest to Anfield and the 1-0. So it's very difficult to win such a team that has been set up defensively. You wanted to say something?
Yeah. I wanted to also point out that yesterday, the game, we got disrupted with Gyokeres injury.
Yeah.
Midweek, Champions League, Olympiacos. And we also, Rice got a back injury. So these players were obviously just being measured. If you look at the end of the game, we just played the ball around, trying to conserve energy. Because when you play in Europe, you play midweek, and then you play on the Wednesday, you're coming to play on a Saturday. The players, it is to tell on the body. So you can't expect them to go all guns blazing and, doing what you think they should do. These players are humans as well. And I'm really frustrated with fans always playing now that fact, okay, they play footballers so well and they should always play 100% every single time. They're tired, fatigue is into the business now, and mind you, they are going on international break again. And when they come back, straight into it. So I think yesterday's game to me was fantastic. Besides, we've not beaten in 2 years at home. We beat them comfortably, and they had no shot on goal, 0.00 XG.
Yeah.
So what are we saying here as Arsenal fans? I think we need to go back and reflect on how we are responding to things, because people don't do that. Because yesterday on Twitter, some guys were like, oh, Arteta is playing around football. A West Ham fan, West Ham Central on Instagram said something. He said, to score against Arsenal is actually a very difficult thing to do. Because he watched the game, a West Ham fan, I think we need to give Arteta his plaudits that this guy is doing something bad. Although he can make mistakes like every human can. So, Arsenal fans do better.
Well, yes, there's a room for criticism, but I think when it's obvious, when you see something is working, just give credit when it's due. Like I said in our last episode on the Arsenal fan corner on Footy Week, I was critical of Arteta because I didn't like the way we set up against Liverpool. I felt Liverpool was there for the taking. And looking after that, I've seen I've seen how he has changed and adapted and started trusting the squad because he has the depth now. He has resources he can call on to work with. So, and a lot of people criticize Arteta for around football. If you look at the stats in the Premiership, we scored the highest number of goals and we've conceded the least number of goals. So wherever the around football is coming from, I don't understand, right? Like someone tweeted, you keep saying give Wirtz a lot of time. You don't want to criticize him. But looking at the stats on Opta score, Wirtz has created most chances in the EPL, and you're telling us we should give him time, but we can see the numbers he's pulling out. But however, he has the 007 gold medal already. Yesterday even made it the 009. So after that, I don't know what happens. Is it 0010, 0011? But Liverpool, that's their kettle of fish. For me, Arsenal is the real deal, and Arsenal is what I am concerned about. And I feel, like you said, fan base needs to give Arteta credit, and I'm going to give him credit for what he has done in the past 7 games. 7 games, we've considered just 2 goals, and out of that, in all competition. And you're telling me not to give him credit? I want more of this. And I feel this is where it gets tricky, because these are the number of teams that have given us issues in seasons past. Fulham, West Ham, Crystal Palace. I think last season we defeated Crystal Palace. Last season we defeated Crystal Palace away at Selhurst Park, but we drew at the Emirates. Yes, we know then the league was done, but I feel going into games like this, if Arteta gives me this kind of performance, I don't mind. So far we get the 3 points and we check it and we're done. But
I think the good
okay. You want it?
I think the good thing with this low blocks team and these teams that play the mid block is Gyokeres. He might not be scoring now, but what he does, see the 2 centre backs, he engages both of them, and that creates space for Saka and Trossard or whoever is going to be on the left side of the pitch. Because the way we play now, you see that Saka is no longer 3v1, 2v1. Now it's 1v1 because of Perez has attracted the other centre back. So I think against Palace and other teams, we'll see more of that and be able to create more chances.
Well, it's a perfect way to segue into the Gyokeres conversation, because I know a lot of Arsenal fans are moaning and groaning again. Gyokeres has not scored in the last, how many games? 4 or 5 EPL games. The last time he scored was against Leeds United, where he scored 2. Has he scored after that? Yeah, he scored 3 EPL goals.
Scored against Leeds and he scored against Nottingham Forest.
He scored against Nottingham Forest. So the last time he scored was against Nottingham Forest, which was the 4th game of the season. And we've gone 7 games now. He has not scored any in any of the EPL 3 games. Yeah, Champions League, and also the EPL. We're beginning to
worry.
But I think what you just said makes perfect sense. I know the threat he brings in, definitely any defender in the EPL will be worried. You wouldn't want to give him any chance. And there was something he did in that Man City game. I don't know if he was coached to do that, or he did that instinctively. What led to our goal, where he stayed up top and the defenders of the Man City defenders pushed high up to set the eye line. And, however it worked. But I feel for the guy, because I know, right now in football, it's the kind of argument that happens in football. Nobody cares. Nobody want to apply context. All they just want to see is you score goal. But the guy is putting in a lot of work and attracting defenders, like you said, and also giving space for the likes of Saka to be able to run in and creating that space within that triangle. You saw that goal yesterday, the first goal we scored. Eze had so much space. Saka had so much space. Gyokeres had already attracted the defenders because they didn't want to leave him. Because if they leave him, they know he is potent and he has the ability to hit the back of the net. But the fan base, from the beginning, even before Gyokeres signed, there was a lot of division within the fan base. Some were pro Šeško, pro Gyokeres. Now, the Šeško fans are beginning to start the rage baiting and start the agenda again. That, hey, Gyokeres is not firing. Like the guy on Twitter, the No Newton guy, he has been tweeting since yesterday. He's a Nigerian like us. I know he tries to hide his identity, but I think a lot of people have found him. A lot of people have found him out. He kept posting on X, indicating how bad a player Gyokeres is. But looking at the next line of games that we have in the EPL, upcoming fixtures in the EPL, we'll play Fulham next, Craven Cottage. Then we'll play Atletico Madrid at the Emirates, at the Champions League, Crystal Palace at home, Brighton in the Carabao Cup at home, Burnley away. What chances do we have? Are there any potential banana slips, or do you feel we can go all the way? Fulham, there are no pushovers though, but I know they'll give us a tough time. Marco Silva knows how to set up those mid-blocks against Arsenal. Atletico Madrid is going to be a hell of a game. Pro Aram managers in Arteta and Simeone. We're going to see Arambo at the highest. Crystal Palace in form. We don't know how it's going to be with this defeat they had against Everton today. We don't know how it's going to affect them psychologically coming to the Emirates. And also Brighton in the EPL Cup and Burnley away. What's your take on these games?
I don't see any weaknesses in our team because I think we can play any team right now in the world. Being the squad depth we have, manager we have, quality of players we have. I just have a few stress points when it comes to Atletico. Actually, I can't wait to see that game. The game, I believe the Premier League game, we should be able to do a job. The Palace game can end in a 1-0, 2-1. That's what I predict for that game, but I see us to win. Palace, Oliver Glasner sets up his team very well as well. But having Easy, knowing their system, I think is a very big one for us because he knows how to play against Gay. He has played against Gay throughout his time in Palace.
Yeah.
So, I know the Palace game we should do well. Our Fulham game, this Fulham game, I have a very strong part of me that will perform very well in that game. Why? Fresh from the international break, the boys are aware that this is a place where we don't do well. I think we
dropped points. We dropped points.
Yeah.
Did we? Okay, we drew 1-1 last season.
We drew 1-1. And
we lost 2 seasons. We lost 2 seasons ago.
At the Emirates, 2-1. 9 minutes goal from, I think, Palinia, whereas they made a mistake or something.
That was a draw. That was a draw, 2-2.
Oh, at the Emirates,
that was a draw. Yeah. That was a draw, 2-2. They were 1 man down.
Yeah. We know they have a budget team where we can make mistakes against them. But I think now, given the squad we have, Gyokeres as well, Gyokeres changes our game so much because now the defenders have to engage. Before, when we are playing Fulham, it's just like a 3 on him, the winger will come, the left winger will come, the centre back will just put a triangle around him. But now with Gyokeres, that's changing. And Gyokeres getting chances to score, I know the goal will come very soon. It's just around the corner because he's putting in the work. When your striker is not scoring, there are other things you want to look at. Is he playing for the team? Is he fighting for the team? You know, and you mentioned one thing about Gyokeres' position when he scored against Man City. Harry Kane does this a lot because he knows when he stays off. Let's say his winger plays the ball, someone else runs, defenders will eventually come and meet him there, and then he has a higher chance of scoring. I already mentioned this as well during the week in the Champions League. So goals will come for Gyokeres. So these upcoming games, I feel we will do well. My mind is just what's going to happen to Atletico because I know Simeone as well is a very good manager. He knows how to set up. And I think this is the first time facing Arteta in such capacities. Curious to see how it pans out.
Well, like I said, EPL is quite important. The Atletico Madrid, I fancy us winning because I feel Atletico, I don't know how Simeone is going to approach that game. If you want to play defensively, possibly just to make a draw, we'll find a way to win. And if you want to come out all attacking, it suits us. But I'm confident in that game because we're home. If we're away, I would have had an issue. I might have been worried. But at the Emirates, fancy us to get a result, get the 3 points in there. But the other EPL games is where I worry because now I would have loved it if we continued in this form. There's no international break. Unfortunately, there's an international break. Players have to go. And I'm happy that Odegaard has stayed behind. I also heard in the news that Rice possibly might also stay behind. I don't know how true it is. I heard other news. I saw other posts on X that Rice will be going to join the Three Lions. But however which way, I know there are some players that won't be going. Martinelli won't be going. Martinelli will be staying. Odegaard will be staying. A few players will be staying back, and that will give us the opportunity to be able to, Arteta will be able to drill the guys. It's a London derby and potential banana sleep, but I just hope we get the 3 points. Crystal Palace at home, fine, we could do the job. Brighton, EFL Cup, another opportunity for us to stage a competition. Go in there with that zeal of wanting to win it, like you said, compete on all fronts. And I just hope the best for the Arsenal in this next fixtures. They are easy fixtures, Joe, but I see a potential banana skin in some. But if we take our chances, we could get the whole 3 points. So finally, what's your take on? I know the season is still early, but do you see Arsenal? There was I think the bookies came up with prediction for the EPL, and Arsenal were tipped to be the favourites to win the EPL and also favourites to win the Champions League. If that happens, but what's your take? I think it's too early. 7 games gone in the EPL, 2 games gone in the Champions League. But do you see us as being potential winners and favorites for this competitions?
Yeah, I think it's only right that we win these things because our players have been together for a long time. 5 years now, good number of our squad players been building for 5 years. So we should win something. He said something yesterday. He said we've been together for 5 years. The players know themselves. We have a routine. And from how we are playing, you can see how the players behave, how they react to situations. We have that. So I can tip us to win both, honestly, because you look at the Premier League now, Liverpool are showing weaknesses. A lot of weaknesses. Losing 3 games on the bounce. That's not a good sign. Salah is not tracking back. He's not doing his job. And Ikitike and Isak are not so firing like anymore. Isak is not firing, Brett is not firing. They've not gotten a system that works like last season. The right back is an issue for them. So they have a lot of, and mind you, if Konate or Van Dijk pick up a serious injury, they are in trouble. So those are our biggest competition. So now I wouldn't consider Man City more than Liverpool right now. That can change in the coming weeks, but Man City more. But I tip us to do a job this year because our excuse for the past 2 years is injuries. We don't have squad depth, but now we have it. We need to go and prove our credentials and we need to win now. For the Champions League, honestly, Bayern Munich, which we are going to play in the Emirates sometime 26th of November or so, I feel they have strong title credentials as well for the Champions League, the Real Madrid, but I tip us to get to the final this year and we should be able to win it.
Yeah, it's high time. It's high time. Like I said, beginning of the season, this is a make or match season for Arteta. Credit needs to be given to him. He's done a wonderful job. But at the end of the day, being a manager, you get measured by the trophies you win. And we saw how Arsenal were bantered last season because Tottenham were able to pick up a Europa League Cup. Chelsea were able to win the UEFA Conference League Cup and also went ahead to win the FIFA Club World Cup Championship. And they're now the world champions, like they label themselves. So Arteta, he has done a wonderful job, but I hope the stars align for him this season. And as Arsenal fans, we're starved. The EPL, the Champions League, we've not won it in our history before. And if Arteta goes ahead to do that this season, wow, I will be off the moon and in total jubilation and celebration. But let's see how it goes and hope all the players come back unscathed, injury-free from this international break, and let's push on. Come on, the Arsenal.